Bobbi Horvath is a broadcast professional, milkshake aficionado, and avid collector of vacuum cleaners. She lives in Highland Square with her husband, Steve. You may recognize Bobbi's sunny personality from the Jason Sokol Show on 1590 WAKR, or perhaps from one of the many bands she's played fiddle with, or in all likelihood from her tireless support of all things Akron. If you have a community event, she will probably help you promote it. If you have a band, she'll probably come see it. If you have a problem, she'll probably help you solve it. And I can tell you personally, she will cheer you on every step of the way. So please help me cheer on Bobbi Horvath.
That was wonderful. You're wonderful. My name's Bobbi Horvath. I was a dead girl for a while. St. Patrick's Day 7 years ago. Here's a little spoiler alert. I got better. I think we've all heard those stories about people who come back and they have these extraordinary powers to talk to the dead or detailed reports of what the afterlife was like. I don't have any of those. But I did bring back a memory of weightlessness and timelessness and a way to experience that freedom again without dying. I'm going to start a few days before St. Patrick's Day. I'm a Celtic fiddler, and my band had been on the road, and I hated everything. I was tired, I was cranky, I was cold. This is really bizarre because I love to fiddle. There is nothing I like more than getting up on a stage. I can't wait. I am so filled with joy when I'm playing that I dance while I'm playing. But that week I just couldn't stand it. It was a job and I wanted to quit. So St. Patrick's Day, we were back in Akron. We were playing at Kevin O'Brien's. The place was jammed. It was wall to wall. Not one more person could get in there, and my band was on fire. I have never played like that in my life. It was like speed metal, only Celtic fiddle. My fingers were just flying, and it was like these 400-year-old tunes that I had played hundreds and maybe thousands of times. It was like they were just happening right then, spontaneously, without, ever practicing or anything like that. It was like my bow was this magic wand, and I never, ever wanted to stop. But that set ended, and I dropped to the floor. Now, this next bit is kind of pieced together from what other people told me. I went down, I tried to get up. I have very vague, spotty memories of the ambulance. I remember this strange woman crushing my wrist. I found out later she was an RN who was doing her very best to find a pulse. I kind of remember a little bit about being in the emergency room because I could hear the doctor apologizing for cutting my skirt off, and I was trying really hard to say, look, just unzip it, it's loose. But I couldn't get any words out. I could hear all of this stuff. It sounded like a big crowd of people. They were all yelling. All of them were yelling, and I could hear the defibrillator going bam, bam, bam. And I had this incision in my neck. I had another in my groin, an IV, a breathing tube, monitors, alarms, all these people yelling. They were working so hard. And I just wanted them to stop. And then I just lifted right out of the top of my head. And I hesitate to say that I went to a place. It wasn't so much a place as a different kind of existence. The temptation is to try to fill in the blanks, to relate it to something we all know about, but I can't do that, and so I won't. Where I was had no time, and yet I had time to consider my life. Thought about my husband and my kids, and I knew they would be so sad, and I knew they would be all right. And I thought about all of the wrong things I had done, and had I made it right, or at least offered to make it right, And I thought about people who had wronged me and had I forgiven them, and I wondered if I had any loose ends, and that was all good. It was all taken care of. I knew I didn't have a body, but I was still completely myself. I was everything that makes me me. My personality, my soul, my essence, my chi, whatever you want to call it, was exactly the same, except I didn't weigh anything. It was zero gravity. I'm heavy when I'm carrying regret, remorse, resentment, all those words, the return to past injuries, revisiting sadness. I should have, I wish that, why didn't I, what's wrong? All of that stuff was gone, and I didn't weigh anything. I was spirit, and I was part of allness. Well, I want to tell you, we have medical geniuses in Akron. They recognized that my heart's sinus node had stopped working. Now, I work in broadcasting, not medicine, so I'll explain this the way I get it. It's kind of like the floor director at a TV station during the news. Tells everybody what to do, when to do it, and for how long. And mine just kind of quit. No 2 weeks notice, nothing, just walked off the job. So these beautiful people did emergency surgery, and I have a bionic part. It does that job for me now. I have a pacemaker. Now, my friends were very well-meaning, and they told me that I came back because there was only something I could do, something significant with a big capital S, and that's not true. That's not true at all. My life isn't any more valuable than anybody else's. I think maybe it was just to encourage the people there at the ER so that they would know that sometimes people survive. Well, I found a way to do this again, and it's when I fiddle. I get to that place again where there is no time and I don't weigh anything. I start playing, and suddenly 3 hours are gone, and I'm probably gonna be late, and I just don't care. And I know that you have this thing too. It's painting, or it's photography, or it's yoga, meditation, it's singing, it's something. There's something you do, or something you have to find, or something you have to do again. And when you get there, when you get to the timeless place, you'll remember who you really are. We are not these human beings with all these flaws and scars trying to be spiritual. We are spirits, and we're trying really hard to be human. Thank you.